It's 104.9 Coyote Country. Robert Miguel here with you. Friday morning, as always, time for our favorite feature, Fanboy Friday. So with me on the phone from Dallas, Texas, professional Q&A moderator and speaker, film critic at BigFanboy.com, and show director at Dallas Comic Show. Once again, give it up to Mr. Mark Walters. Welcome back, sir.
What is up, my man? How was your Christmas?
Christmas was pretty good, man. Pretty awesome. I wish it would have fallen in the middle of the week, so maybe I got an extra couple of days off. But you know how that goes.
It's weird having Christmas on a Monday, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of anticlimactic. You know what I mean? You get that one day off, and you got to get back to work on Tuesday.
Yeah,
no fun.
It's crazy.
But today we're going to do something special. It's essentially the last Fanboy Friday of 2017. So I was thinking maybe we do like a little best of 2017.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we could talk about some of the movies that have come out this year. There's been a lot of good stuff, and I think we're going to get a lot of really good stuff next year too. It's funny. It seems like every year, every year or so, you go through a period where sometimes you have a really good year of movies, and then sometimes you have just kind of a so-so year of movies, and then sometimes you have years that are just completely forgettable, where there's just like nothing really to talk about. But I think we've had some good stuff this year. I mean, I think this year started off strong too, because you had movies. Like, I was just going back and revisiting some of the movies that I really enjoyed from earlier in the year, and one of my favorites, which actually came out in January, and I think a lot of people forgot that it came out this year, was M. Night Shyamalan's Split.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it ended up being kind of a surprise. I think it took a lot of people by surprise. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. And I thought it was just a really enjoyable kind of. I don't even know if I'd call it a horror movie, just more of like a psychological thriller. But I really enjoyed that immensely. Yeah,
and John McAvoy was great in that, and of course, M. Night has kind of seemed like his material had kind of been slipping lately. I guess you could say, right, as far as his productions.
Yeah. I think when you're a guy like that, I think that you've got such tremendous pressure to, because when those first couple of movies that he put out were so controversial and so critically heralded, and so it's like when you have that to kind of kick off your career, everybody's going to be scrutinizing everything you do next. And so he had a lot of pressure on him, and I think all things considered, I think he performed pretty well. So I was pretty impressed with it. So
all right.
And then of course we had this was the year of Wonder Woman and Justice League. We had Thor Ragnarok, which I thought was a lot of fun. Now, wait a minute. What am I missing? Oh, yes, another big Marvel movie to come out this year, which came out early in the year. Logan, tremendous.
Oh,
absolutely
wow.
Great send-off to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So, we've got some really cool comic book flicks this year.
Yeah, Logan was, mind-blowing to me. I thought that was just such a great way to finish out, the story. And the fact that Hugh Jackman, did that role for, 17 years? Is that the story, something like that?
Yeah, he started playing that role, technically, if you want to get really technical about it, the first time, I guess, would have been 1999 was when he screen tested, but officially, he first played that role in 2000. He's been doing that role now for almost 20 years.
Man, it's
crazy to think, and it's really crazy when you go back and look at what he looked like in that first X-Men movie, and then look at what he looked like now, and it's like, physically, he probably is 10 times more impressive looking now than he was when he first started playing the role. So he's kind of proof. He's proof to guys like us that age is not a factor. You can still look good if you just put the work in.
Rocking the dad bod, that guy. Very good.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great Wolverine movie. It's also, in a way, kind of a great X-Men movie, in the sense that, it sort of shows us a different take on that mythos. And I really enjoyed it for what it was. And then, of course, next year you'll have another X-Men movie, because we're going to have X-Men Dark Phoenix coming out next year. So,
wow.
We'll have a whole new kind of X-Men movie to celebrate, even as we say goodbye to Wolverine. So, the X-Men, they're not slowing down one bit. Not only do you have X-Men Dark Phoenix next year, you also have New Mutants, and there's, some new TV stuff that's coming. So, Marvel's really, they're not slowing down one bit. And now with Disney acquiring Fox, of course, the really big positives of that, or the potential big positives of that, is that means you can now have the X-Men mixing with the Marvel Studios characters. So you can have Captain America, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Incredible Hulk, and all those characters along with the X-Men characters on the same screen, in the same movie, and it's no longer a conflict of interest.
Now, you mentioned a little bit about a Wonder Woman and Justice League. Justice League for me was not great, but man, Wonder Woman, you got to talk about how fantastic of a film that was as far as the year goes by. I mean, the number one, female-fronted movie of all time? Is that right?
I think that this was definitely the year of, for lack of a better way of putting it, this was the year of girl power when it comes to movies, because not only did you have Wonder Woman dominating the box office and doing very, very well, but you also had movies like Atomic Blonde, which were big hits. You've had a lot of female-driven movies. I mean, even though it wasn't a huge success, even the Tom Cruise Mummy movie introduced us to a female mummy for the first time.
Right, yeah.
Seeing a lot of women-centric movies that are introducing, strong female leads. And I think that's great. I think we're seeing more of that than ever. If you could count Star Wars among that, with Daisy Ridley playing a very strong female lead in the Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether people like it or not, try to associate it with, a social justice agenda, whatever the case may be, we are finally starting to see stronger female characters in movies, and I think that that's definitely a good thing.
Well, very cool. Now, are any of your personal favorites, little gems that maybe somebody hasn't heard of yet, that you, from the critic's perspective, that you would like to say, hey, man, this is a must-see movie. If you didn't catch it this year or didn't even know about it, here's one to check out.
Well, I'll tell you, because I'm part of the DFW Film Critics Association, we have to do our voting at the end of every year. So I have spent the last month and a half or so kind of plowing through all these Oscar screeners and trying to catch up on movies that I missed, or in certain cases go back and revisit movies that I saw, maybe 6 or 7 months ago and might have forgotten a little bit about them. So I've been kind of, playing, I don't want to say playing catch-up, but basically immersing myself in that world. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, I just recently rewatched, I guess I should say, I rewatched Dunkirk, which, of course, I think it's a phenomenal achievement as a film. I don't know that it's a great war movie, but I think that as a technical achievement, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in that. And also Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill. He's phenomenal in that movie. Huh. And, we had a lot of really good, solid performances like that came out this year. Strong characters, strong true story characters. Like we saw a lot of movies that came out that were based on true events or based on true stories and that had really fascinating characters in them. Margot Robbie turned in a phenomenal performance as Tanya Harding. I never thought I would say that I was looking forward to seeing a Tanya Harding movie, but I actually thought that she did a great job in that film. And so, we're just seeing some really good stuff. Some of the films that I think people might have overlooked that are probably worth a look. I'm not a huge Woody Allen fan, but I did think that Wonder Wheel was a great kind of an entry this year because it had really strong performances. Kate Winslet's terrific in it. Justin Timberlake's great. Jim Belushi, really surprising me. He really kind of holds his own with Kate Winslet, and that's a really interesting film. It kind of the movie plays out a lot like you're watching a play or a stage play. But I thought that was a great film. And I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, Shape of Water is excellent. Guillermo del Toro's latest movie, really interesting film, and again, a strong female lead. Really good, strong female characters in that movie. So yeah, this has been a really good year for movies, and I think that when it comes Oscar time, it's we're going to see. There's probably going to be a few movies that do get overlooked. One movie I do want to mention that I just recently rewatched, and I really, really loved. It's a movie called The Hero, and it stars Sam Elliott. It came out earlier in the year. Kind of did the film festival circuit, and it's Sam Elliott is playing like an aging Western star. He's basically playing himself in the movie. And it's one of those things where, he's in his twilight years. He's not getting a lot of roles offered to him. He's kind of trying to figure out, what is his legacy? What is he leaving behind? And it's a film that I think could probably, it speaks to us on a lot of different levels, because we've all kind of had that moment of, when we look back on what our legacy was, or we look back on what we're going to leave behind when we're gone. And I think that that's a terrific film. It's directed by Brett Haley. Really, really good movie. It's called The Hero. Be sure and look that up if you haven't seen it yet. That's a terrific film.
Now, an observation I made as far as the highest grossing movies of 2017, just about all of them in the top 10 are either sequels or a reboot or a remake of some sort. You got Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Beauty and the Beast, which is basically the live-action version of an animated classic, Despicable Me 3, Fate of the Furious, Transformers Last Night, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Justice League, the list goes on and on. Do you think this is a trend we're going to see in 2018? All the biggest films, will they be sequels again?
Well, here's something interesting of note, and I'm kind of glad that you brought those movies up, because there are actually a lot of those movies that technically did not make money, or did not make enough money for them to be considered profitable. And what's crazy about that, it's crazy to say it, because in certain cases, we're still talking about movies that made hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office.
Right.
But from the studio perspective, they were deemed failures because there was so much money riding on the movie itself in terms of the production budget and the advertising budget, things like that, that the movie, in certain cases, even if it did make hundreds of millions of dollars, it could still be technically considered a failure. And what I think is going to happen moving forward, and I think this has a lot to do directly with because of the popularity of streaming services is becoming a big thing now, I think you're going to see less giant budget movies. I think that we're going to start to see kind of a trend in more modest budgeted films. Some of the best movies that came out this year, or some of the most profitable movies that came out this year, were movies that were made for very, very little money. Get Out was made for, I think, something like less than $8 million, and it made over $100 million at the box office. There's a lot of films that are proving that you don't have to spend these crazy amounts or crazy budgets in order to see a return. And I think that we're going to see maybe, hopefully, a new trend of that moving forward in Hollywood. I think Hollywood is realizing that there's too much money on the line. They can't afford to keep taking these risks. So they're going to start telling these directors, or challenging these directors, let's see if you can make better movies or more consistently better movies without spending hundreds of millions of dollars to do it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say this real quick, because my pick for best movie of 2017, and I can't even get it down to one. It's got to be a pretty solid tie between Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Both those movies I thought were just great stories, so much heart, so much just everything I wanted to see in movies. I would say those are probably my two favorites of the year. But if you could narrow it down to one or two, in your opinion, Mark Walters from BigFanboy.com, what is the top pick, your number one movie of 2017?
Man, that's so tough.
You're in the pressure cooker.
I'm telling you, I've been wrestling with this for like the last month and a half. I think The Shape of Water is excellent. I think Guillermo del Toro, this may actually be his best overall film. I think he really knocked it out of the park with The Shape of Water. I was very, very happy with it. I really enjoyed Blade Runner 2049. It's unfortunately too long. I think that's one of the things that hurts it more than anything, is it's way too long of a movie. And I really enjoyed The Post. I thought The Post was really, really good too. But just in terms of like guilty pleasure, overall fun factor for a movie, I got to say I'm with you on Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was such a blast. And I actually can't wait to kind of sit down and plow through it again. I've only seen it once. I just remember having an immense amount of fun watching it. So it's one of those movies that I can't wait to sit down and watch it over again.
It really was. I kind of felt like I was smiling or laughing, or I was feeling something the entire time. And that, I think that says a lot whenever you're going through that roller coaster of emotions that are mostly joy, and then all the camaraderie. And it's just I just felt like I was smiling the whole time, man. What a great feeling in any movie. And same thing I think goes for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That one had a lot of heart and a lot of entertainment value, in my opinion, too. So, well, there you go. Well, those are the ones to catch if you've missed them already. Thank you, Mark, for doing the best of 2017 edition of Fanboy Friday. What you got going on the website, bigfanboy.com?
We're getting ready to post up. It's actually kind of a repost, but I've got a really fun interview with Henry Thomas, looking back on E.T., which is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. So we're going to post that up, and that should run through the weekend. And then we're also going to be involved for the next 2 days, Friday and Saturday, in a special benefit that I'm doing with a friend of mine, Devin Pike, which is called Who Needs Sleep. It's a 36-hour live broadcast benefit to fight cancer. And so we're going to be involved with that. So we're going to be tied up for the next few days going into the new year. But we've got a lot of exciting stuff planned. We just officially announced this is our 13th anniversary of BigFanboy.com. And so we're just kind of gearing up for another really big year. And I think it's going to be fun. And lots of great movies coming up, too.
Hey, real quick, man, before I let you go, I just wanted to, this was kind of on my heart. You had made the most beautiful post about Carrie Fisher, who we lost a year ago this week. And I just wanted to say, man, I'm really sorry for your loss. I mean, losing Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, was big, hard on all of us, but you actually worked with her in a capacity, and I just wanted to say, man, I feel for you, and you posted some really beautiful things on your Facebook there.
Well, I appreciate that. Carrie was a rare treat to work with, and, she was somebody that, when I was a kid, I had the biggest crush in the world on her. I never thought I would ever get to actually meet her, much less get to work with her, and I can honestly say it was always a treat to be around her, because Carrie was someone that embraced her craziness, and I think that in doing so, she kind of taught all of us that it's okay to be a little bit crazy. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit crazy. We're all a little bit crazy. And, but I really appreciate that, Robert, because it really was a treat to spend time with her and be around her. And it occurred to me, she passed away a year ago this week, and it occurred to me, when she passed away that, all those times and all those memories that I had, time spending with her, I mean, it's very cherished, and so I don't ever want to feel like I take that for granted. So I definitely miss her, man. She was a true princess in every sense of the word.
And what a phenomenal job she did in The Last Jedi, man. Really appreciated it, and just seeing her on the screen that one last time was just so beautiful.
Yeah, terrific.
All right, man. Well, thank you again for the Best of 2017 edition and the final edition of Fanboy Friday for 2017. So I guess I can say I'll see you next year, Mark.
See you in 2018.
That's right. I'll give it up one more time to professional Q&A moderator and speaker, film critic at BigFanboy.com, show director at Dallas Comic Show, once again, for the last time of the year, Mr. Mark Walters. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Robert. Take care.
It's 104.9 Coyote Country. Robert Miguel here with you.